Greetings. This is Honolulu Blue from HB Cruising with you again to tell my tale of the ultimate disco cruise from February 2022. If you haven't watched the first two parts, you should go see those. I'll leave links to those videos in various places. This video will cover part 3 of my adventure, which will cover the ship's health situation and protocols. Always keep in mind 3 things. 1. I'm not a doctor and don't pretend to give anyone medical advice. 2. The situation on this cruise represented the protocols as they were several months ago. They will almost certainly be different on your cruise. And 3. I make no judgments on what anyone else does to keep healthy, and you shouldn't either. Vaccination and prior infection. I received my first injection of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine in March 2021. I then received the second Moderna dose 4 weeks later, in March. I got a Moderna booster in December 2021. I had no known prior infections. Testing. I did a COVID-19 antigen test using the Abbott at-home proctored test 2 days before the UDC. I had previously ordered some to handle my testing needs for this cruise and others in the future. Then, a few days before the cruise, Star Vista made all passengers take a proctored antigen test just before embarking. I also took an antigen test at MCO, Orlando, on Thursday in order to embark on the 80s cruise 2 days later. All of those tests were negative. I didn't hear of any positive tests while I was on the ship, which doesn't mean there weren't any. Masking. Once aboard the ship, masks were optional everywhere on board for passengers. We were provided 2 cloth masks by Celebrity. Us passengers were asked to bring more masks in case we needed them in port. Since I didn't go into either port, I don't know how strictly this was enforced. I had been to both Cozumel and Costa Maya on the summit in September, so it was an easy decision for me to stay on the ship. The Celebrity crew were still required to wear masks at this time, and all crew I saw wore them everywhere. The Star Vista staff weren't required to wear masks, and they mostly didn't. A small percentage of passengers wore masks in every location, 1 to 2% if I had to put a figure on it. Nobody made a big deal out of anyone wearing or not wearing one. Which is as it should be. Social distancing. I never went in the elevator on this cruise, so I couldn't judge what was happening there. But the theaters were less than full every time I went. Most shows looked to be about 2/3 full, with Kool and the Gang doing a little better, around 80%, and Exposé and the Matinee each doing a little worse, around 50%. I arrived about 15 minutes before each show and could usually find a seat in the center and 8 to 12 rows up. Ticketmaster would sell seats that close for premium prices. Even in the seats I usually had a couple of feet between me and my fellow attendees. Of course, there were places where people were squished far closer together, like the front rows and the aisles near the stage. At the KC and the Sunshine Band show I attended, the gentleman next to me decided to sleep through the last half hour of the show. And yes, he was sleeping and not dead. I watched his chest heave in rhythm and he woke up when the show ended. On so many levels this made no sense then, and it still doesn't. Miscellaneous notes and conclusions. Other than some small social distancing signs and what I've mentioned elsewhere, the pandemic was barely mentioned. Many of the bands mentioned their struggles during this time. And Jason, our cruise director, noted that 1. The number of people on this cruise was down from 2020, with no specifics given, and 2. The status of this cruise was in flux as late as a few weeks before. I didn't see anyone in hazmat suits. I didn't see any quarantine/isolation rooms. I don't know where they were. The captain didn't mention COVID-19 at all. Thank you for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel so that you can find out about other great videos that I will make about music-themed cruises and solo cruising. Be on the lookout for part 4, the final part, of my adventure on the ultimate disco cruise.